This is TWiT.
So here's the thing about this GitHub acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think Ben Thompson did a great job explaining why it makes sense and why Microsoft was willing to pay a lot of money for a company that only raised a few $100 million and is struggling to stay profitable. And he points out Microsoft may never make any money with GitHub. It's just not set up that way.
Right. And that's part of the reason I think Microsoft is a good steward for this service.
You don't have to make money.
Yeah. It's not like when they bought Nokia and it's like we expect to sell X number of phones and we have this growth trajectory, blah, 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 whatever. No, it's really about hearts and minds and being part of that community. It's super important to the future of the company. I don't know about the price. I'm not sure what it's worth. I saw that number and I thought, like, that's kind of a big number. But I believe that Amazon and Google and other companies have been looking at it as well, and I'm sure that was part of it.
A lot of bids.
Yeah.
But I think... Go ahead, Mary.
I think it was CNBC who said Google actually did bid on it.
And Atlassian was looking at them. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is... so for people who don't know what GitHub is, by now probably everybody does, but it's the place a lot of open source projects put their code for sharing. A lot of places... A lot of open source and other projects take submissions there. It's a way to coordinate multiple programmers. You know, it's a code repository, but it also has code review. Has a lot of features. You know, it's clear that Microsoft, this is part of their strategy to woo the developer community, particularly, I think, the open developer community to Microsoft. The problem is I see so many people in the open community saying, I'm moving, I'm going to GitLab, which is one of the competing Git repositories, had a huge spike.
I feel really bad for those people that I mean, even in our, not even, in our world, in the Windows community, we joke about this on the show, right? Microsoft will announce yet another Linux, blah, 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 whatever it is. And so I was like, oh, here we go again, you know. This has been going on for years. I mean, we're just joking now. I mean, we accept this. We understand it. It makes sense. But like I said earlier, I think there's this segment of the population out there, developers, maybe a higher percentage of them too. They haven't gotten the memo on the Microsoft thing. You know, this isn't the Microsoft.
No, we have long memories. And Microsoft under Ballmer was really the sworn enemy.
No, but I always use this example. You know, you don't blame Germany for World War II today.
Right.
You know, you don't.
No, but there's still people who won't buy Volkswagens.
Yeah, because the Dieselgate thing, that thing makes sense.
all the cabs in Tel Aviv are Mercedes-Benz. So there you go. Right?
Sure.
I mean, it's not, you know, I saw some people saying, oh, I can't do it. Remember they called Linux a cancer. It's more deep-seated than that. I mean, Microsoft was openly attacking open source. They were waging a patent war against them.
They were charging people.
They were. It was bad.
They could really still be charging people. Has anyone ever come out and said, oh, by the way, Microsoft called and they said, you know, that licensing fee you've been paying us for the past 17 years, that's forgiven. You forget about it.
But you know what they do now, which is different. You know, you don't see. Remember, every week we would see a press release about a new company they were attacking for patents, and they were all Android.
Or a new agreement they reached with someone who didn't want to get sued because they were implementing some kind of Linux or Android-based whatever.
Did you notice that stopped?
Yes. Oh, that's definitely stopped. Yeah.
I don't think Microsoft will ruin it.
No, I don't think they're going to ruin GitHub. I mean, they're one of the biggest users of GitHub.
Yeah, that's right. One of the concerns, though, some software developers have is that Microsoft might peek at their repository. I mean, this stuff's public anyway. I don't know. I know. I think that's kind of strange.
Well, there is a whole part of GitHub that's private, right? And that's the part they charge people for. And you can have non-open source code in these private repositories. I mean, Amazon has repositories on GitHub. Google does. I mean, so people are like, oh, yeah, if you were a Microsoft competitor, would you put your code there? I don't know. Guys, they have rules they have to live by. That's why people aren't afraid to put, you know, really confidential data in things like OneDrive and SharePoint. There are rules. I mean,
I listen, your bank, whatever it is probably a lot less stringent about security controls on your online account than Microsoft is.
Right.
And a lot less sophisticated. But whatever. This issue of trust, I can't help people with trust.
Yeah.
All you can do is look at Microsoft's record and see what they've done in this century, and
last 4 years.
Look at how the company has changed. And I get, okay, go to GitLab if you have to. But this has really surprised me. Just
doesn't surprise
the depth of
me at all.
It didn't surprise me at all.
It feels like it's a 20-year-old argument. You know, it's.
Well, and I also have to think before Microsoft spent $7.5 billion that they almost certainly, well, more than thought about it, surveyed developers, right, and said, well, would you mind? Yeah. So they must think they know they're going to lose some people, but they must think most will
feel like there's two camps, right? Like there's open source developers who are practical and they use open source because, you know, those tools are what they're familiar with and such. Then there's the FOSS camp, the free and open source people, the Richard Stallman people. Those guys are never going to like it. They're never going to go with
people.
it,
right?
They're people. FOSS
are they?
Users are people too.
Okay. Well, to be fair, the Free Software Foundation has never liked GitHub. Stallman continuously complained that GitHub was using open source code, not sharing back. Oh, no. GitHub is not beloved either.
I will give him credit for being consistent.
Yeah, he hates everything.
Consistently terrible, but consistent.
No, but among the hardcore, GitHub wasn't it either. But almost everybody I know used GitHub. I mean, that really was, you know, that was the default.